Hello and welcome to another IoT Central webinar. I would first like to thank SECO for being our sponsor. This webinar is titled From the Clea Framework to the Edge Developer Journey, Simplifying Edge AI Deployment with App Hub, AI Studio, and the SECO Developer Center. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers. Fausto de Segni is Head of IoT and AI at SECO, and Matteo del Balio is the Lead Product and Program Manager at SECO. Let's get started.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. Thanks IoT Central. Today we'll explain how to simplify the Edge AI deployment, refreshing our memory about Clea Framework, and then we'll present the App Hub, AI Studio, and the SECO Developer Center. So Fausto, maybe let's start from the SECO's overall approach, because we often talk about the end-to-end approach, connecting hardware, software, and the AI into one unified offering. But what that means in practice?
Yeah, Matteo. So this is exactly the point where we are standing right now with the new trends that are popping up, in the industrial, but in any kind of market, where the AI is becoming way more than a buzzword, but something that needs to be implemented at scale in an industrial way, even on the edge. And this is something that will definitely bring new approaches for monetization and revenue streams that were not possible before, and at the same time new way to interact with devices, like a completely different and augmented user experience. So where SECO stands is exactly in the middle of this new change, where we can simplify the adoption of the AI on the edge and simplify even any kind of technology frictions that can nowadays block the adoption of the AI on the edge. And this is exactly where we want to start, because having a software like our Clea Framework give us the chance to provide a unique and end-to-end offering to our customer that is not only relying on the hardware that obviously SECO is capable to provide, but integrating such kind of new technologies directly within the hardware with the adoption of the Clea Framework that allow you to have AI algorithm directly running on edge devices. And this kind of adoption, as we said, would not only generate a brand new, let's say, revenue streams or multiple possibilities for our customer, but it also accelerates the time to market, or even the chance to gather and collect data in a completely different way from our devices, and in a different way in terms of value that you can take out of them. Obviously, this rely on our platform.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, basically a few seconds ago, I think the real backbone of this approach is Clea, and I think it's worth taking a moment to talk about the main components of the framework, like OS, Astarte, Edgehog, and then Portal.
Yeah, for the one who have not yet the chance to follow the previous webinar that we took around Clea, we will encourage you to do so, because it's already full of details on this. But I will just do a short recap of the main concept around our IoT framework. So basically, there are 4 components that are the core of our offering, and we are talking about the Clea Portal, Clea Astarte, Clea Edgehog, and the Clea OS. So just to make clear for everyone, let's say that the Clea Portal, we'll see it in short. Clea Portal is the place where we can represent the data collected from the edge and visualize and monetize all the information that we are collecting from our devices. Clea Astarte take care about the data orchestration of the data, having the chance to, ingest any kind of data thanks to the interfaces that can be completely customized depending on the needs of our customer, and also provide such kind of output to any kind of third-party system that our customer may have, like data platform, or even ERP, CRM, or any kind of industrial even system that need to be ingested with the data collected from the edge. And this is exactly the role of Astarte. So ingesting the data and even sending them to the third-party system in a unique and standardized way. While Clea Edgehog is our device manager that have all the capabilities to not only connect the devices and check the status of the devices themselves, but as we will see later on, has also the chance to deploy containerized application directly on the edge with let's say over-the-air updates that can be provided not only for firmware but even, as I said, for application. All this let's say cloud environment can be even more simplified thanks to the Clea OS that is our operating system that is built on Yocto Linux distribution and simplifies the all the adoption of the let's say any kind of application on the edge, but at the same time the connectivity and the connection, the transfer of the data directly with the Clea framework itself. So it's in somehow an ecosystem of application that it's connecting to each other to provide a unique end-to-end approach. And let's deep dive a little bit each and every component. So if we start from the Clea OS itself, we need to mention the fact that Clea OS is not only built on the open source Yocto project based on Linux, but it's also flexible in terms of customization. So whoever wants to develop on top of it to define all the needs in terms of application that can be done, SDKs that can be enabled, and it also, let me mention this because it's quite relevant nowadays, it also has a double partitioning that give the chance to have any kind of update of the whole firmware over the air without having any kind of interruption. And this, nowadays it's quite let's say important in terms of cybersecurity and let's say compliance in terms of let's say this kind of cybersecurity regulation authorities that implies updates that are not disruptive in terms of operation. Not only that, I mentioned before the fact that we can also run containerized application, and this is something that we'll see later on in our discussion, how is the real key for the enablement of the AI on the edge. Because the computational power that is nowadays growing in terms of capabilities on the edge, is giving us the chance to perform multiple algorithm and let's say application with such kind of things. And in order to do so, you need to have a unique and replicable way to distribute such kind of application among the whole fleet of devices. In order to do so, we also have Astarte, that is our data orchestrator, because whenever you have deployed any kind of application or you have connected any kind of devices to your IoT environment, you need to ensure that such kind of data that are collected, like telemetries or any kind of input from the devices, need to remain consistent independently from the devices, independently from the kind of application that you want to run. And so the flexibility of defining interfaces to connect different devices is one of the topics that our Clea Astarte can accomplish without any, let's say, pain in terms of development and customization. This is something that will be, let's say, provided for all the data in input, but the same approach will also be taken for the data and output, because after the data orchestration and the fact that we do have a clear, let's say, throughput of information that will be ingested by our Clea framework, we can also reuse such kind of information for third-party system, as I said earlier. And in order to do so, you need to have a couple of ways, at least, to export such kind of information. One is obviously thanks to the triggers functionalities. So whenever an information lands into the Clea framework, need to be shipped to any kind of third-party system, and this is exactly the role of the trigger. But even thanks to the APIs, you can query any kind of information directly from the Clea Astarte. And so, independently if you want to pull or push the information, you have any chance to, let's say, interact with your data thanks to Astarte. As I said, the third layer, it's related to the Edgehog, that is our device manager. Device manager that is not only capable to do all the updates and the configuration over the air, as I said, secure and, let's say, trusted way between cloud and the edge layer, but it also gives you the chance to do such kind of update in campaign that allows to have multiple updates in the same environment, even in different, let's say, time zones, without disrupting the operation of the whole fleet. This Pine Green campaign is the same one that we will adopt also for not only the firmware update, but even for the configuration of the application or the containerized application deployment. And this is definitely something that will be a plus for whoever wants to update, because whenever you have AI application, there are chances that you need to redeploy application or reconfigure AI application several times, because there could be new AI algorithm that you want to adopt, and so on and so forth. So instead of rebuilding the whole firmware, you have the chance to only update several parts of your application, and we will see how easy it will be for our customer. And this is the way we are collecting data from the devices and managing the devices themselves. But one of the key points for the data visualization, data monetization, is Clea Portal. Clea Portal is nothing else than a super layer that gives you the superpower in terms of arranging and visualizing the information collected by Astarte. Obviously, you can run AI directly within application built on Portal, but more than this, there is also the chance to have let's say, a extensible front end for building your own application. So, all that said, this is basically the basis for what we will see later on in our framework.
Quite interesting for sure, a powerful framework indeed, but Fausto, correct me if I'm wrong, until now what we described could still sound like a classic IoT platform. So maybe it's worth illustrating a little bit what makes our framework unique, how it actually enables the Edge AI part.
Yes, Matteo, you're right. So let's say that talking about the hardware on the edge and the software integration that we do thanks to our Clea framework, we are just covering whatever happens in the IoT environment, without having let's say, huge difference from what we did several years ago. But nowadays, we have the chance to provide, as we said, AI on the edge thanks to the hardware capabilities. So how we are performing this with our Clea framework? We introduced several new capabilities to our framework, and even several new tools that our customer can use. And one of the examples is exactly Clea AI Studio, that will give the chance to our customer to deploy any kind of use case they have in mind into AI-based application that can be containerized and therefore deployed thanks to the Edgehog capabilities that we said before in any kind of devices. So independently from the hardware. So already this kind of things, it seems to be not so easy to be achieved, because whenever customer needs to have a deployment on the edge of AI algorithm, knows very well that these have a lot of dependencies on hardware capabilities from that are adopted, and so on and so forth. What Clea AI Studio can do is basically make our algorithm available to any kind of hardware that will be compatible and will have the computational power to perform this. And then we may ask, okay, but what kind of algorithm, what kind of application can we deploy through the Clea AI Studio? Here kicks in the application hub, where our customer may find any kind of application or algorithm or features of Clea that can be deployed thanks to Clea AI Studio, and they will also see the benchmark of what will be the differences on each and every hardware. I'm quite sure that you will have the chance to showcase something interesting later on this topic. But for whatever question or technical documentation that our customer may need in order to, let's say, deploy such kind of value proposition on the edge, we also built our developer center that is our centralized access for any kind of information you may find for software or hardware provided by SECO. So this approach gives us the chance to have on one side the application hub and one side the developer center that remove any kind of friction in order to simplify the AI adoption on the edge. And this is something that, thanks to our framework, can also be enabled in our hardware offering, independently from boards that can be bare hardware, or even on our modular vision offering that is suitable for any kind of AI capabilities. Okay, so now I'm quite sure that I brought on the table a lot of messages and key points. So the best thing to do is see it in action. So Matteo, probably you will be able to visualize better than what I said so far all the topics that I covered. So what about having a full explanation of this whole developer journey from the top to the bottom? So starting directly from the application app directly and reach the deployment of an application on the edge.
Yeah, sure, no worries. I'll be quick. Thanks. I'll like to start from the application hub. This is basically where the developer journey begins. So from the home page, we can browse a list of available AI and edge applications. And here we select one of the models, the object detection model. In this page, we can see the model description, the performance benchmark, supported hardware and chipset. And here we can directly deploy the model into Clea AI Studio with just one click. We can select within the import on Clea AI Studio or view the documentation on Developer Center, but we'll check that later on. Inside the Clea AI Studio, well, here's where the model is automatically imported, and you can see the visual workflow. We have 4 main blocks in this case for this model. We have the image input, the model, yellow 8, and several outputs. We can define the output method. In this case, we can select the real-time streaming. We can also add another output, and we can select, for instance, the visualization dashboard format with a CSV exporting file. And then from here, we can directly deploy, pressing the deploy button on the Edgehog. Here we can see the deployed applications. We can, a list of containerized. We select the device, and then from here we create a campaign and we release it directly to our target device, which in this case is the Modular Vision 10.1 inch powered by the Qualcomm. And now we move on to the device itself. So the Modular Vision running the model. Well, this is a quality inspection flow. We place a small single board computer board under the camera, and the object detection model identifies that a component is missing. In this case, is a USB connector. So we add this component, run, and analyze again the SBC. And now the system confirms that everything is correct. And all of this, just to mention, runs locally in real time, entirely at the edge. To complete the journey, we can move from the App Hub directly to the SECO Developer Center. That's the home page. It gathers the documentation, the developer. You can check Get Started Guides, software resources, and we can check the Modular Vision page with product details, configuration options, of course, the list of supported software versions, including, of course, all the releases of Clea OS. From the Developer Center, you can also get access to different kind of products and related modules like the Smart QCS or other kind of platforms with videos or Get Started and so on and so forth. So basically, this was the full developer journey from the Application Hub to Clea AI Studio to Edgehog to the device on the edge. And finally, explain a little bit to the Developer Center. It really shows how Clea simplifies the Edge AI deployment and brings intelligence directly to the factory floor.
Well, that's a lot of information that give us the full picture on how we are nowadays capable to transform something that was just an idea, like an object detection that we have seen, in something that it not only feasible in a few clicks, because I've not seen any kind of line of code that was being developed so far. So
Sure.
it means that it's just few clicks in order to deploy such kind of things. But even more, as you said, it's running all on the edge. So it means that there are no cloud consumption or adoption that performs such kind of algorithm, let's say on the cloud. And this means more security, more time to market, more reliability on the data that you're gathering, and even the chance you a time to act that it's completely different. So the data becomes really actionable even while we are augmenting such kind of information with the AI. So that's definitely a great approach. But if our customer would like to take a look at all these resources where they can get additional information?
SECO.com for additional resources and then updates and everything they need. And any other thoughts before we close?
Oh, I think that it's worth to mention the fact that we are monthly releasing a new algorithm, and there is a wide, let's say, distribution of such kind of information about our social, and this is something where you can also get informed on all the updates that we do have there. But we obviously encourage you to try it by yourself. Go on at seco.com, as you said, and ask for your trial immediately in order to perform it on your own. That's definitely worth to be tested directly. So with this, I would like to thank IoT Central for this opportunity, and I will definitely be happy to answer any kind of question that we may receive offline. So you have all the contacts to reach out, and we'll continue our discussion whenever you want. Thank you very much.
Thanks and ciao.
Gentlemen, thank you for a great presentation. And a special thank you to SECO for being our sponsor. You can view more webinars at iotcentral.io. Have a wonderful day.